Hey guys, welcome you all in our channel. And again, we are here on 4:30 to just discuss about the Zscaler, the new topic, new scenario, and new learning, right? So, from where you are watching, might be on YouTube Live, or might be on the Zoom, or might be any other platform, right? Just feel free to ask your questions as usual. If you want to put your query on chat box, you can always feel free to ask your query, right? So without any further delay, let me start this session, right? So we already know that like for the Gscaler, like many people are struggling in a market to just get the training, and due to some kind of the lab constraint, like we all trainers or might be some training companies are not able to deliver the trainings. So I understand the pain of the network security engineers, because this is the one of the product which is widely adopted by the global enterprise companies, and many of the company are using, and many of you are supporting this particular product, right, in terms of the security requirement, cloud security and all. So if you're supporting the product, and if you having a very limited knowledge, so might be you always having a dependency on the Zscaler tags. Like whenever you're having any issues, you just have to go and talk with the Zscaler tag, like how can I resolve this issue and how to do the configuration for advanced levels and all, right? So this kind of a struggle is having in a market, and people are not able to get the right knowledge from the right platform. So I'm just contributing from my side for my viewers whosoever is just watching on these channels. So at least whatever I have a knowledge, or what the maximum knowledge I can get from the live scenario, and I try to get those knowledge to you all, so at least you guys can understand how the things is like going to be configured and troubleshoot in the Zscaler environment. So previous few sessions, I just discussed about like what are the Zscaler product, right? So if you go and watch my videos on the channel, so you will find that there is a lot of things I have already done discussion about the GIA, like Zscaler Internet Access, like one of the GPA, right? One of the like Zscaler Private Access, and ZX, like for the for monitoring and like just checking how the network is behaving inside, what all uh, parameter is doing in terms of the network health, and the all the like vulnerability, virus, malware, and any other kind of the like attack if it is going to be happen. So all the solution I have already discussed in particular this module. So you can see here ZDX, known as a digital experience monitoring, right? So if you're having a three products, basically one is for the GIA, one is the GPA, one is the ZDX, right? So probably this is all about the monitoring, live monitoring, like getting the information, user experience for the troubleshooting and everything. So this is a very powerful tool. I would suggest, like if you working in the Zscaler environment and you having the access of this particular tool, just try to explore this. It will give you the exact issue, where is the issue, and why this particular application having a slowness, why it was not working, like that kind of the in-depth visibility you will find from this particular tool. Many more functionality it have, but you just have to explore. Okay, so still I don't have the lab here to just showcase each and everything, because there is a problem with the lab is not like free to everyone, right? So what I have done in this particular all session for the Zscaler, I just capture the informations from the lab scenario or production scenarios, and how this POC scenario is going to happen, and from there I just try to demonstrate about that, how the steps looks like for the particular configuration, and what are the different component, how it can be classified, right? So now you can see here again we having a three products. We can see GIA, GPA, and we know about all three meanings. If you don't know about this product, so probably you can go and watch these product available on our YouTube channels, so probably you will get all answers, right? This is a B2B for the secure business. If you having the direct B2B connection from the one customer to another customer with a Zscaler. So this is the separate design. Probably you will not find much in your environment, but you will find the GIA and GPA and JDX, right? So these are the two products, and this is for the just monitoring and visualization. Okay, so I hope it is clear to everyone. Now coming to the point. So the point today I'm going to discuss is what is the Zscaler Tunnel version 1.0 versus 2.0, and why earlier only the 1.0 version are available with the Zscaler, and now why they upgraded it on the 2.0, right? So this is the agenda, and we have to understand, right? So before I go and explain, okay, let me explain where this tunnel is going to be used, which solution if you are using. So this tunnel is going to come in a picture, right? So let's say suppose you are the client, right? And your PC should have some kind of the lightweight application installed, right? If I talking about the lightweight application installed, that is known as client connector application, right? So this client connector application, whenever you are going to install any of the PCs, what it is going to do, right? So just understand in this way. Let's say suppose you are working from home, right? And you just have to connect your office network, right? So what is the requirement, right? What is the requirement? So you just have to connect via the VPNs, right? It could be the any connect VPN. It could be the Palo Alto global product VPNs, SSL VPN. It could be anything. Similar, to achieve this all requirement, what is going to be required? So any connect VPN, if you're using from the Cisco, so Cisco any connect client software must be installed in your machine, right? Global Protect, if you are running, then again the Global Protect software must be installed in your machine. Similar kind is going to happen with SSL. So these are called as a lightweight software application, and you can see in my machine also, if you find that this is the like VPN, you can see here, this is the VPN, it is installed in my machine. So this is the one of the client connector. You can think about that, that is belong to the Cisco. Similar thing is going to happen in the Zscaler, right? So Zscaler also having a lightweight application, right? This lightweight application is known as the Zscaler client connector, right? So you should know. So how many product we'll discuss about? One product we'll discuss about GIA, that is a Zscaler Zscaler Internet Access. That is the GPA, Zscaler Private Access. Then third one, I'm talking about the Zscaler Client Connector. That is known as GCC, Zscaler Client Connector. This is a third product. So whenever you're going to work on any of the solution, you must be aware about their product. So GCC, GPA, and GIA, right? Now we already know about all three functions, right? Two I explain, like GCC I explain, this is the lightweight, right? Lightweight, one of the software which is going to install, let me just write it, install in client PC. So this is going to install in the client PC. Anyhow, once you just have to install this client PC, you just click on the GCC, you'll get this kind of a screen. Let me just show you. You'll find this kind of the screen. So you can log out from here. You can see this is the private for the all three feature will be available here. If you want to access for the GPA, that is a private access. It is just going to show you the about the private access. If you wanted to go on the proxy, you can just use this internet security. If you want to do some kind of troubleshooting and digital visibility on inside how my network is behaving, you want to troubleshoot, that is for the digital experience. So these all are available here. You can see here, right? So this is how it is going to be, used in the real production environment. And this software you'll get on your laptop machine. That is known as the GCC. Okay. So I hope it is very clear. This is the GCC. So this is very clear. So this is going to install in the client machine. Now moving to the next flavor, right? So next flavor I was talking about what is a GIA, right? So Zscaler Internet Access. So this is nothing. This is going to act as a proxy. So proxy means I already explained in the previous classes. Anything, if you are setting from the office, let's say suppose this is your LAN network, right? And this is connected with the, any router or might be the firewall. And through that, we having an internet connection, right? And this is your Zscaler cloud that is known as the GEN. There is nothing, this is a Zscaler data center, right? GEN is a Zscaler enforcement node, right? So this is just a data center. So all the LAN traffic, whenever the user trying to access any of the internet, directly traffic via the internet is going to send to the GEN. No NAT is going to be required. No NAT is going to be required. It is just going to use the GRE tunnel or GRE over IPsec tunnel. And via that, all traffic is going over the internet from your router or the firewall. It could be any L3 device. And then GRE tunnel would be there. And from there, chain traffic will be land. And further, Zscaler will take care of your all security perimeters, whatever going to be required. So GIA is just a proxy which need to be introduced in the environment. Your connectivity should be there from JAN to your LAN infrastructure or office location or branch office location. And then this is going to be processed through the GEN, right? So I hope GEN is also clear. So not GEN, the GIA is also clear to everyone at least. If not clear, you want to understand in very detail, just go and watch my previous videos. So this is nothing, this is a proxy. So this is the lightweight client software that is installed in the PC. What is a GPA? So I told about if you're working from home, right? And if you need to connect your data centers, internal network, then how you're going to use. So this is acting as a VPN solution. So GPA is just VPN. You just have to, the same connector, which I just showed you, that connector is going to be, process your traffic through that VPN. It will be come under the private access. So this is the name itself with the private access that is going to access to the your internal network. So even you are going to the internet, GCC client is going to come in a picture. Even if you are going to intranet, that is your internal network, then again this GCC client application is going come in a picture. So you can see Zscaler client connected, that is known as GCC. Okay, so this GCC is only responsible for the any kind of the communication if you are working in the Zscaler environment. Now we are clear about the definitions about three products, right? Now moving to the original question, why this tunnel 1.0 and 2.0 is going to be required? So the problem is tunnel 1.0 only few type of traffic. If I talking about the few type of traffic, that means if you want to go on web, right? If you want to go on the web, what is a web? Like you just want to go on the facebook.com, right? You want to go on the google.com. You want to go xyz.com. These all are web. If you want to go Palo Alto network.com, gscaler.com, cisco.com, juniper.com. So these are the all web traffic. So once you put this web traffic in your browser, what machine is going to do with this traffic? So let me just show you. Let me just, if I am going on my browser, let's suppose this is my browser. And here, if I am just typing HTTP, or might be even I am just going to type here that the facebook.com, right? Or might be I'm going to type yahoo.com. I'm not putting HTTP or HTTPS, anything. And see, this is by default redirected on the HTTPS, right? This by website, that domain has mapped internally in the domain name server. This is the HTTPS website. So browser itself understand and redirect it to the HTTP. Even you are sending to HTTPS, by default, you are sending this. If you're not typing HTTPS, if you're just typing any website, the request is just triggered as a HTTP request. But there is a mechanism. If you just setting in the website, domain name server and all in the background in the DNS mapping. So there is an option. If any request is going to come on HTTP, just redirect on the HTTPS. So automatically this is going to redirect on the HTTPS. You don't need to worry about it. So might be user will type HTTP, might be type HTTPS, and it is just going to happen. Let me just show you. If I'm going to type this website as HTTP, even it should be translated as a HTTPS. Let me just use. So HTTP, and here is a might be yahoo.com, right? So let me just remove the yes here, and I'll see. And see, it automatically translated in the HTTPS. So even request by default, you are not putting HTTP. You never realize how it transferred to the HTTPS, because in backend side in the server they have done some kind of mapping. I can show you for the my website also. We have done similar kind of stuff. So it is going to happen in the HTTPS. So these all browser based things, whatever you are doing, these are known as HTTP or HTTPS based traffic, web traffic, because you are reaching to the any web website, any of the URL, any of the, like you can say, or whatever the website, you can just think about the XYZ, Facebook and all, right? So they all reaching there. Okay. So the tunnel 1.0 was only capable if any user wanted to go on the HTTP, right? Or they wanted to go HTTPS, that work on the port 80 and that work on the 443. This is the non-secure, and this is the secure traffic. So if you're having any traffic request, if any user want to go any HTTP based website or HTTPS web traffic, the tunnel 1.0 only capable to understand those traffic and forward those traffic toward web destination by using the gen proxy. Okay. So this was the limitations, tunnel 1.0, right? This is a core limitation. We having many more things to understand. I'll try to explain as much as possible. So this was a problem. So let's say suppose you have some custom web traffic. Might be some website is not going to work on the HTTP or HTTPS. They're having a custom port, custom URLs, and some other application also is going to require. Is it this solution is able to carry those kind of the traffic? The answer was no. It was not able to do that, right? So this was the problem. And to fix those problem, the tunnel 2.0 was introduced. Just I'm giving one of the example. We also having a many more some problem. I'll show you the table what all the problem we have, but this was the main problem. So let me just go out and read the slides little bit for you, just for the reference. So if I'm going here, you can see here the Zscaler service uses a lightweight HTTP tunnel called as a Zscaler tunnel, G tunnel, to forward traffic toward GIA public service edge. So this is GEN. GIA is public service edge, nothing that is called as GEN. So basically they are talking about any traffic. If you want to send from your client location or user machine, they're going to use the HTTP based tunnel that is known as a Zscaler tunnel. And what is the HTTP tunnel? I'll explain a little bit more about this. And then this is going to use the public chain, right? When user connect the web server, Zscaler client connected, this is GCC, right? So where it is installed, this GCC must be installed on the client machine. So this is the Zscaler client connector establish G tunnel to closes GIA service edge. So what that mean? So that mean whenever you just wanted to build a tunnel and you are running the tunnel version 1.0. So if you're running the tunnel version 1.0, GCC client connector is installed on your PC. So once the GCC, once you turn on the GCC, how you can turn on the GCC? Let me show you. So by default, it is going to be turned on whenever laptop you're going to start. But if you want to turn off it, there is an option. You can log out from here. If you log in, it will turn on. And once it is going to be turned on from this button, what it is going to do, right? So it will try to establish a Zscaler tunnel from that user machine to closest GIA service edge node. So what is the closest GIA service edge node? This could be the nearest data center. So how you can find the nearest data center? So probably you can go in the internet, and if I just try to search, uh, let me just show you near Zscaler data centers, right? So if you just type here, so probably if you find here, just open Zscaler config tab, and you'll find that, let's suppose I'm in India, so I can figure out where is my nearest data centers, right? So if I'm in India, we having a 3 locations, right? Chennai, Mumbai, and Delhi. So if I'm in Gurgaon or Delhi, so for my nearest location would be, this is known as Delhi. Okay, so probably we'll find, see, APEC region. So if we having a Chennai. Chennai is far away from me. If I'm in the Gurgaon or Delhi, so Mumbai is again far. So which is the closest? So New Delhi is closest to, for me. This is a New Delhi data center. This is a Gen name and the IP address, whatever is configured, right? So it is saying that it is just going to build a closest GIA public service edge tunnel from the user machine, right? And forward the web traffic through the tunnel so that GIA public service edge can apply the appropriate security access policy. So this is what exactly. So simply whatever the traffic user have, it is simply going to filter the web traffic, and only the web traffic based on the HTTP and HTTPS is going to forward to closest GIA, and further GIA will enforce all the security policies. Similar to the firewall, when the traffic firewall receive, what basically it is going to do? The firewall is going to do policy inspection. The firewall is going to do the URL filtering. The firewall is going to check the content inspection. The firewall is going to do the vulnerability check. The firewall is going to do DOS attack checks, the data filtering check. Similar kind of posture management, similar kind of work. GIA is just going to, Zscaler gen is going to do for the any user traffic once it is going to reach to the nearest gen, right? So the gen will receive the traffic. It will apply, enforce all the security policies. It could be the SSL inspection. It could be the web inspection. It could be the URL filtering, data lake, lot of things. I'll show you what all option we have, but it is going to just enforce all the security requirement as per your company policy, right? Now we understand till here, right? What is going to be happen? Further, they are talking about Zscaler Tunnel. Zscaler Tunnel forward traffic by using Zscaler Cloud, the connect request method. So what is the connect request method, right? So this is something same is the HTTP connect. So in HTTP, we having like the HTTP verbs. If you have done the CCNP in core, if you're not done, if you're planning done, so just our batches is started yesterday, you can join anytime. So there is a HTTP verbs that is known as the get. There is a delete. So if you want to understand the REST API and all, sorry, let me just, so there is delete, there is like get request, there is put request, get already, there is patch request, right? So a lot of thing we having HTTP verse. Similar, we having the connect also. So this is like old tradition connect. So this is known as the HTTP connect request. So once it is going to be follow the process of the HTTP verb connect request, this is just going to build a like a traditional tunnel and send all the traffic based on the port 80 and 80. 80 is HTTP and sorry, 80 is HTTP, 443 is like HTTPS. So 80 and 443 basically. Sorry for mistakes. So this is how it is just going to forward the traffic, right? And if you want to understand how the configuration is going to happen in this particular, so let me just, I'll open this link also, and I'll just show you. If you want to go step by step configuration, how this all is going to happen, so we can understand also that also. So let me just open this website for the Zscaler reference I have taken. So we'll refer it later, okay? White Zscaler, how the connector, how the GIA, how the cloud connector, this all things is going to happen. So probably I will not able to cover everything today, but the main point I'm going to cover it. So now we understand Zscaler 1.0 having a limitations. One limitation we clearly understand, they only forward the traffic to the closest gen based on the HTTP connect request, where it is going to form the Zscaler tunnel, right? By using the Zscaler connect request, by forming the Zscaler tunnel over the GRE and all, and over they will only send the traffic which is based on the 80 and 443. Okay, this was the one limitation we having in the Zscaler Tunnel 1.0. When I move to the Zscaler 2.0 tunnel, it having more functionality in compared to the previous version, right? So what are those more functionality here? So if you see here, they are talking about they inherit and they are using the tunneling architecture. They are not using this architecture that connect request architecture, HTTP tunnel. They are not using HTTP tunnel. They are using additional tunneling architecture that is known as the TLS and DTLS, right? If you learn about the SD-WAN, SD-WAN also leveraging the DTLS and TLS. If you are having the WLC understanding, Cisco Wireless, they also using the TLS and DTLS, right? So these are the very secure layer 4 tunnel, right? Transport layer security, right? So TLS known as transport layer security. So this is layer 4 tunnel security, and they are very, very, I can say encrypted or very confidential information they can hide, and nobody can, understand what we are sending and receiving through the TLS and DTLS tunnel, because they are the layer 4 transport tunnels, right? So basically by using this technique, they are just forming a tunnel, not based on the HTTP, connect request, they are not forming a tunnel. So by doing this, they having a provision, right? So you can see they are talking about Zscaler 2.0 has a tunneling architecture that uses the TLS and DTLS tunnel, send packet to the Zscaler service edge. Whatever the nearest service edge we having, they are just going to form the TLS DTLS tunnel, and over that they are just going to exchange all the communication. And because of this, Tunnel 2.0 is capable sending all port and protocol type traffic. This is a very important. So there is no limitations. If we are using the Tunnel 2.0 and if we are using the 1.0 versus 2.0, so one thing we clearly understand, this is only understand ATN 443, that is HTTP and HTTPS. But if I'm using this, it can understand this. So this also, if I'm using DNS53, any other like custom port, this one, whatever 9000, any port, if I'm going to use, they all are going to support any protocols, OSPF, BGP, GRP. If you are sending any traffic related to that protocol, they all are going to be understood by this Zscaler T.0, right? Tunnel 2.0. So this is the one benefit you have to understand, right? But if you are just thinking to migrate from existing 1.0 to 2.0, you just have to take something in your mind while doing the migration, and you have to understand what configuration, where we have to check, right? So they are talking about to use of tunnel 2.0, what you have to take care in mind. Deploy Zscaler Connect Connector 2.0 and later on the user machine. So if you are going to use this version, this client connector, that means GCC must be installed above this version on the user machine. Then only this tunnel is going to be supported. If your client connector GCC version is quite old, like 1.0 series something, it is not going to be supported. So this is the problem, right? So when you just wanted to upgrade, your client connector should be also upgraded. So let's suppose your organization having a 10,000 client, all client connectors should be upgraded. Okay, all user machine GCC client connector should be upgraded. Then you just have to change the configuration of the forwarding profile. So where we can do the configuration forwarding profiles, that is a more important. So till now I just discuss about three things: GIA, that we understand, GPA, that we also understand, GCC, that is also understand. Now they are talking about, we have to client connector profile, we just have to configure, right? So where is client connector portal is going to be, show me how the client connector portal is going to be, show me, right? So Zscaler, I can see Zscaler client connector profile or portal, whatever, just think. This is something, one portal you will find inside of the GPA and GIA itself as a tab. So let me just show you. So once you might be log into the Zscaler, you will find such kind of a dashboard will be available. You can see. So in this dashboard, you're having a lot of things to just explore, like how your application is doing, how your URL is doing, which application you are accessing, what location you are using, top users, application segment, streaming media, these all tabs you will find in the left hand side, like dashboard, GIA, analytics, policy, administration, and any policy you are creating, like any changes you are making, then you just have to activate from this left hand side. So if you want to go on the GCC client connector portal to just make the tunnel configuration, so how basically you can go there? So probably you just have to go here in the administration, and you can see not in administration, in policy, and you can see there is a one tab here, mobile, you can see here, and this is known as a Zscaler client connector portal, right? So this GCCP is another window is going to open for you, and this window is going to look like this way. So once you click on here, this is going to open one new window for you, and this window is known as, this is a Zscaler client connector portal, and here you can manage your devices, you manage your forwarding profiles. So you can see here is a forwarding profiles. Let me just show you. Probably you can see here. So here is a forwarding profiles for different users, and by using this forwarding profiles, you can define, you can add the profiles, you can add the user for different user, DNS server, why you're using tunnel version 1, 2, you can create based on your network requirement. And in this tunnel configuration, you just have to define your organization name, your host name, whatever it is going to resolve, domain, DNS server, what the profile name, and further some other setting also you have to take care. Some are default and best recommended settings you just find in the configuration guide. But most important thing here, you just have to select whether I'm going to use tunnel 1.1 or 2.0. So this is going to set on this forwarding profile, and this forwarding profile is going to push on the GCC client app, which is installed on the user machine from this particular portal, that is a mobile portal. And based on that, they will update their GCC lightweight application, and they know which tunnel I am using, right? And if they are using 1.0, they will only send the traffic 443 and 80, but they are using 2.0, then they will send any type of traffic. So you can see, I will show you 2.0 also configuration. We have similar kind of step, but you just have to select the tunnel 2.0. So this is my 2.0. So you can see a lot of things we have to do the configuration, but at least how we can do that, we know that. And here you can see all services, whatever you have taken, like you have taken the GPA services, DX services, like for digital experience and Zscaler GIA services, they should all should be enabled. If any services you are not taken, that should be disabled by default here, right? So you just have to check what services you are taking, and then further you just whatever the app profile for a different user you are creating, right? It's again again a very new topic for everyone, but I'm just showcasing you whatever the users, like I just amended the user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, what are the model, what are the OS, some are the Mac, Window, what the client connector version they are using, device registration. Then again, in this portal, you just have to use which tunnel type you are using. So that is going to again inherit to the direct to the user machines, right? So this all having the interlink, and we having a different way of the configuration while doing the Zscaler configuration. You should know the exact process, exact things, how the proxy can be configured, how the pack file can be changed, how the user group can be created, how AD can be integrated. So I'm not going to talk that much level of the configuration part for now, because the video is going to be very long for time being. But yes, we just have to take care. If you're just having a limited knowledge and you want to check, then you should know what is a client connector portal, what is the GCC, what is the GIA, and what is GPN, how we can check the different configuration. So coming to the again next, right? So in the next session, like next thing, what I'm going to talk. So let me just go a little bit up. So two definition we understand. What is the like definition of this tunnel 2.0 and 1.0? Now let's compare some features. So if I'm going to compare the features, like if we are using, we having a further few tunnels type also, like we can use the like again there is a few terms that is going to use. One is use the routed mode tunnel 1.0. If you're using the tunnel 1.0, they having a three modes basically. One is like routed mode, one is the packet filter mode, one is the like local proxy mode. So these all facts flavor we have, and every flavor having a different of the traffic flow like process to go on the internet and the GIA, right? So if you're using the, let's just giving an example, route mode, one default route is going to be inject, right, on the user client GCP connector, and based on that default route, all the traffic for the web, HTTP and HTTPS, they are just going to send to the GIA, and rest of the traffic based on the routing, they will reach to internet, right? Similar, we having the packet filter mode. So in that case, all the packet is not routing is going to require, the packet is going to be inspected by the, based on the stream TCP, UDP, whatever it is going to come, and IP, and if TCP and 80 or 443 traffic is going to happen, they will just send to the GIA, and non port 80 and 443 traffic that will going to send to the right internet. So this is how it is going to check. If you're using that local proxy, then it can be support to the any custom port as well, not only the port 80 or 443, even the custom port you want to send the traffic to the GIA, that is also possible. It is going to be happen, right? And if you want to bypass some traffic, that is also going to be bypassed. So that's why tunnel 2.0, I already explained the features. So they having different. So this is the light tunnel. This is a TWLP. So this is known as TWLP is, you can just TWLP is the packet tunnel Zscaler like packet filter mode. We can say that tunnel with the proxy, tunnel with the local proxy, right? Tunnel with the local proxy. Let me just see. This would be the name. Yes, tunnel with the local proxy. TWLP is tunnel with the local proxy. So one is the Zscaler 1.0, one is the tunnel with the local proxy. So you can see tunnel with the local proxy can support any custom ports. So they are talking about that. And this is tunnel 2.0. So they are comparing, and something is enforced proxy. That means it is something, let me just show you enforced proxy also. So this enforced proxy is everything you're just sending to the internet, and your system is just check like whatever the traffic you have. And if you're having the proxy configure, pack file configuration system, you can see forwarding pack file, based on the pack file, whatever the traffic is going to happen, they send to GIA, or remaining traffic is going to the internet, direct to the internet. Okay, so this is like enforced proxy, traditional proxy, you can just say about that. So here you can see that if you are forwarding all standard web traffic, so what is the standard web traffic? That is a 443. Let me just write here. So this is a 443 and port 80. So that they all are supporting. You can see this traffic is going to supported by this tunnel 1.0, tunnel like with local proxy, tunnel 2.0, enforced proxy, and none is no proxy available. So there's no meaning of this using. So if you're having a standard port, they all are going to support it. If we having web traffic on non-standard port, so very important, you having a web traffic, but let's suppose you are trying to do web kind of the stuff from the browser, but your traffic is on 443 or 880. So they are not standard port, they are the non-standard port. So this kind of traffic, if you want to use, this is not going to support by tunnel 1.0. You can support via the tunnel with local proxy, TWLP, or it can be supported by tunnel.2.0, or it can be supported via the enforced proxy. It is possible, but it is not supported by tunnel 1.0. So this is like you just have to digest it. Now the third is any web traffic, any type, it's a standard, non-standard, it is just supported by the tunnel 2.0. Any type, its web traffic can be supported, can be forwarded, but not any, it's having some limitations, non-standard, and some are like well-known ports also, but might be there's a custom, any other kind of the like my organization custom requirement. So these all could be supported by 2.0. It is going to check in regard of the your well-known any other custom ports, well-known protocols, port numbers, whatever we have, they all are going to support it by this, right? So this is like we just have to understand. So it's all about the your port numbers, whatever you are going to use. Then they are talking about the transparent forwarding. So what is transparent forwarding? So that transparent forwarding, that means like whatever the traffic you are just landing to the user machines, the user will be unaware what is happening inside to me. And they all Zscaler Tunnel 1 and 2.0, they all supporting, and they will also able to do the non, like we can say non proxy traffic we having, they aware, and they will send to the normal routing to the gateway whatever you want to send, right? So this is also going to happen. If you're having any authentication you want to enable, these all are going to support, right? Authentication, local policies, if you want to manage in the local machine, that is only possible with the 2.0, right? Client local IP policies, if you want to create, you want to store, that is going to happen 2.0. So a lot of feature we having a 2.0, you can just as a manage IP layer bypass, exclusion, inclusion, that is possible in the 2.0. Support no default route environment. This all three support, full support no default route environment. If you don't want to default route, they all support, right? Coexist with the default route VPN on the Mac OS, that only this like this TWLP is just supporting this, right? And no GIS scanning request, then non-proxy is going to be required. So you can see most important, what we have to take care in mind, the web traffic, custom port, well-known port, some other protocols. So more or less, it's all about the traffic type, which type of traffic you want to carry. So if you having a requirement in your organization, you want to just go with the custom, well-known, any other port, any protocol, traffic to go via the GIA, then you have to have used the 2.0 tunnel version. If you just want to simply send the HTTP or HTTPS request, that is for the 1.0. So you can see 1.0 having a limited feature. They forward the standard traffics only. They can understand like transparent to the forward. This is the normal features that every GCC client having. Like authentication is also very normal. It is going to be required, and no default route is also understanding. So main is just web traffic, right? And you can see this one having a lot of things: standard, non-standard, all type ports. So these are the very powerful. So this is what I just wanted to convey you all. I hope it is clear to everyone. They also talking about some kind of the pros and cons about the tunnel 2.0 and 1.0. So you can see here is the 1.0. They are talking, they only secure and transfer the traffic based on the TCP 80 and 443. In interoperate with the firewall filter application, you want to integrate the firewall things and you want to do filtering and all, it is also possible. It is interoperability, there is no issue is going to happen. Interoperate with the any other proxy solution, it is also going to be compatible, there is no issue. Reasonable, and it is going to provide the user end visibility, what user is doing, what kind of the issue they are facing. So all logs will going to be stored there in the GCC client connector, and it will help to the troubleshoot. Similar, you can see it. It is just talking about the some few ports you can see in 1.0, but here it's talking about the all IP unicast traffic. So in regard to the port protocol, what we're using, they all are going to give you the visibility to transfer the traffic from the source to destination. So this is what it is happening here in this particular GIA 2.0 GCC connector. Better protection in the policy enforcement in compared to the 1.0 tunnel encryption, validation, and integrity, because they're using TLS and DTLS, so might quite secure, flexible, include, exclude options available here in this, because it's a robust, advanced, so we can do that, a lot of things. Real-time control channel, excellent user end visibility. So this all is available, right? And what are the cons they're talking? Inbound, outbound firewall policy rule required. Yes, that is going to require, because just control the traffic patterns. So additional configuration you have to do. Domain based bypass configuration we can do. There is no problem. If required, we can do. Similar thing, stream conversation, inbound firewall rule, no visibility into the non-web traffic. So they are talking about the cons of this. VPN coexistence, ALG application, and third-party proxies with limited log visibility. So they are talking about this because this is quite old, not having a too much visibility, too much facility features, but 2.0 having a lot of features. Similar in the TWLP. that tunnel with the local proxy, they can understand HTTP and HTTPS, also non-standard ports, but not all non-standard ports. This is different. So you can see this one and this one having a different, it can permit all type port and protocol. It can also non-standard port it can support, but non all ports, right? So it's not like everything it is or every protocol and all going to support it, right? So this is the only key things. Minimal, they having the VPN interoperability, reasonable end visibility, no, not much they having, lightweight tunnel, no stream conversion. So they having some good feature in compared to this, but still they having limitations, which is going to fulfill by this one. Okay, but if you are using that, this enforced proxy, it is just going to like use as a pack file, and whatever the pack file configuration is going to happen, based on that your user traffic is going to throw out from the user machine to the any of the destination, right? If you're using none, so nothing is going to be required. It's like plain your traffic is just going to like routing, whatever is decided on the router, they're just going to check the routing and all, and their traffic will going to be processed, right? So nothing is going to be checked. Simply all traffic will go to the internet in regard of the what configuration you have. So the router will check the routing and the traffic is going to be forward. So this is what I just wanted to convey. I hope it is clear. Still, anyone having any question about this tunnel 1.1 and 2.0? Later section, I'll explain a little bit more about how the proxy, how the pack file, how this all configuration, how the dashboard look like, what is the individual feature we have. You can see a lot of feature we have in the different sections. Dashboard, we having the policy, you can see URL filtering, file type control, bandwidth control, SSL is secure browsing, data loss, DLP, we having like SaaS security API connection, mobile, I explain. You can see here again the firewall control, DNS control, FTP control, IPS control. These are the policies very powerful here. So we'll try to explore one by one everything. In administrator, you can see we having the user management, identity proxy setting, company profiles. You can see a lot of things, audit logs. You want to check who made what, and event logs, what happened, what time. So that all will be possible. URL category you want to define, bandwidth classes you want to define, rule label you want to define, VPN credential you want to make, network services, network application, IPFD group you want to create. That all is possible. And end of the day, if you're making any of the changes in the administration group or the policy group, analytics is just for the let me just go through the analytics also. Where is analytics? I just forgot to okay, see analytics, we having analytics. Analytics is just give the troubleshooting. So you want to troubleshoot, you want to check the live logs. So mobile user you want to check, some live traffic you want to check, some DNS traffic you want to check. So these will help you to troubleshoot, just providing the source, destination, FQD, and whatever you have. And based on that, you can just pull out the logs, and you can see what is happening with the particular traffic. Is it really coming to Zscaler or not? So this is how you can start doing the troubleshooting in the analytics sections. Dashboard will give the complete visibility what is happening. It will give the real time some graphics, so you can visualize which application consuming what, where the my traffic is going, what user is consuming what. So everything will get there. Threat, vulnerability, everything will find on dashboard. And if you make any changes, you just have to go on the activation, and then after you just have to activate the change without fail. If you're just changing and you're not activating, so your change will be not going to be executed, right? So you just have to take care of this also in your mind. So this is all. I'll try to discuss like every week at least one or two topic of Zscaler, step by step, how and what we can do. So multiple things already we discussed, and probably we'll try to cover few more important topic in the upcoming session. So that's all from my side, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to comment, put your question on the chat window or comment section, and I'll review and I'll try to answer those